Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Tech Frenzy. In today's video, we have a bunch of news, okay? In fact, we're going to be talking about some names that usually we don't always talk about, like Opendoor, for example. But that does obviously include some of our regular names as well, like SoFi, Robinhood, Upstart, Shopify, a little bit of crypto news as well, Google, Nvidia, stuff like this, okay? Open door talk. It's going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. So strap in and let's get this party started. All right. Okay. Camera's good. You guys can see me clearly. I dropped my camera, thought I broke it yesterday. So hopefully everything's good. SoFi or Shift4 for the next 12 months? That's a good question. I'm not sure. You know, I think that the real one that should appreciate more is Shift4, but I don't think the market is going to see it. I think the market will absolutely see and bet on SoFi over the next 12 months because of rate cuts. The story's easy. Shift4 is going to be one that is, people will always question whether or not payments should be at a lower valuation due to disruptive technology. Similarly with like Duolingo, for example, fundamentally the company is just so strong and it does deserve a multiple, but markets constantly bring that stock price down because they worry that, the next AI product that ends up coming out just kills that momentum. I think Shift4 could be in a little bit of heat in that regard, but nonetheless, let's continue on with some news that's not Shift4 related. Two pieces of Upstart news. One that we talked about the other night. I think it was on Saturday. And then one that just came out this morning that had people a little bit worried about SoFi, Upstart, Lending Club, some of the other, lenders that are in that fintech space. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this. So UMI, which is the Upstart Macro Index, ended up rising. Oh, I thought he increased a picture. Okay, yeah, he did. Ended up rising to 1.6 versus, the one benchmark that they actually want. Now, as rates were expected to come down, this rate started to go down. The lower it is, the better for Upstart, by the way. The higher it is, it's actually underperforming. UMI rose to 1.6% in August, remaining elevated versus the range observed in since June 2024. We noted that prepayments have also began rising, which tend to be associated with improved credit performance and may be cause for some optimism related to future UMI movement. Maybe. We'll talk about that. By the way, my background's wrong. There we go. The personal savings rate was 4.6% in August, down 0.2 percentage points from July. July value was revised from 4.4 to 4.8. The downtick reflects spending growth of 0.3 outpacing the 0.2 increase in real disposable income, with much of the increase tied to back-to-school purchases such as clothes, footwear, recreational goods, and school supplies. Revisions to UMI are posted weekly. Change since the last month email has been as such. Okay. Then, on top of that news, which Upstart, to their own degree, tried talking down, being like, oh, you know what? This is actually really good going forward. Well, not everyone is on the same page. An analyst actually ended up coming out with a pretty bearish remark, saying that August data for Upstart's ABS securitizations show an increasing accelerating delinquencies in both the months of July and August. We are candidly surprised by the rapid increase. August 30-plus day delinquencies across the trust now exceed 11.2%, up from 10.4% in July, both of which are well above the 6 to 8% range that delinquencies have ranged between October of 2022 to May of 2025. So way accelerating past what they thought was comfortable. Okay, 11.2% versus the 7% range that they actually wanted to see. So Upstart did not like this news. And then subsequently, you ended up seeing names like SoFi get hit. Okay. SoFi, because of this type of report, people worry, oh, this is a consumer problem. People are being delinquent on their personal loans. It's not just going to be a Upstart problem. It's going to be, a fintech problem in general. However, like stock market news and data-driven investing had pointed out online, that Anthony Noto in his last fireside chat ended up saying very clearly, we can even play this right here. So he talks about it here in a second, but we'll just play this whole part real quick. Listen in.
We're seeing really strong, consistent demand that's helped us drive the growth that we've been achieving. Last quarter, we had 44% revenue growth, 29% margins, really strong. Our outlook was very positive, and we've seen those trends continue in terms of the demand from the consumer. Credit's also performing well, and so we've seen no change there within the.
Hang on. Okay, this was, recorded like 2 weeks ago. He said,
credit's also performing well, and so we've seen no change there within.
Credit is also performing well, and we've seen no changes there. We've seen no change there, meaning things are not getting worse. The hard part is, for some investors, is to separate the quality of these underwriters. Upstart, with their beautiful AI models that are going to just take over underwriting, and every loan is going to flow through them, is potentially underperforming. Okay. And the company that does things a little bit more standardly, however, with really high quality borrowers, 150,000 plus FICO or incomes, 750 plus FICOs, they are not in the same league, not even remotely close. The idea that, Upstart even said, oh, well, credit is actually improving, which is making people have higher prepayments. That's not going to be the case for SoFi, right? That whenever people's credit improve, that's when SoFi starts to deal with them, not the other way around. Okay. So people grow into us. We don't people don't outgrow SoFi in terms of their credit availability. And this was so much the case that SoFi Investor Relations, hold on one second, because I want to highlight, not only did SoFi Investor Relations end up posting this, here we go, but Anthony Noto himself ended up retweeting this, tagging the guys that ended up defending SoFi here and saying, as our CEO Anthony Noto said in the Goldman Sachs Communicopia and Technology Conference on September 8th, credit is also performing well, and we've seen no change there. A reflection in our constantly strong underwriting capabilities. Okay, so IR, which has something to lose if they are completely steering investors wrong, and the CEO, who's putting his reputation behind this, is saying, guys, that's not our company. It's a completely different report for a completely different company. You cannot compare us one-to-one. Great. And this is what is super interesting, right? There's been a whole bunch of companies that have come out and tried to compete with SoFi. And there's a very famous article that was posted back in the day, said last lender standing. And it was talking about how SoFi is the last company in 2022 during the high rate hikes that was actually still putting up good results and is sure to fall because all of the other companies have shown that they have started to fall in their performance. SoFi never showed that. During their, their underwriting capabilities and everything, they just continuously put up great numbers all the way through very hard times. And they slowed down in the amount that they could sell their loans and the amount that they were actually underwriting to keep themselves safe. But in the actual performance of those loans, the vintages versus past performance just crushed. Okay. Even in an extremely high rate environment, prepayment, all of these things. Yeah, we saw marginal increases in prepayment in certain areas, but it's nothing. It was nothing. So SoFi's not like the other companies. They're proving that once again. And I think that this is just people, whenever a stock rises this fast, they look for anything to nitpick at SoFi's company to go, oh, you know what? They're not going to put up the numbers that we think they're going to put up. I think Anthony Noto is very, very confident that they will, in fact, do so. So we will see. Next. Now, this was actually falls under bad news, but I didn't actually think of it as such. SoFi ended up getting another rating by Wall Street. Okay. A rating, mind you, that is much lower than the current share price that we sit at today. Let's show this here really quick. Jeffrey Adelson, who has, hurt his performance by being a little bearish on SoFi. He's now a quarter star out of 5 in terms of his performance as an analyst. You did not want to be bearish during a very bullish time. Okay. And so the price target that he ended up saying was $18 for SoFi, up from 13, which, yes, is much, much lower than where the company is today. And maybe he's just following share price. But to me, and what we ended up seeing in the article as well, is that he's actually not terribly bearish. And in fact, not only did he upgrade his price, but he actually brought up his rating from cautious to in line, which I also think is surprising. You're putting SoFi in line, but you're also suggesting a 34 to 35% drop off. Like, what are you calling for right now? Are we going into a massive recession? Like, what? How exactly is that in line? I don't know. Regardless, the bear targets on SoFi continue to rise, as Hong says here. I think it's good. We're always going to have those people that are really, really low on the share price. But imagine if, like, in Tesla's share price, if, like, Gordon Johnson, for example, raised his price to like $250. Like, great. I think we still need Giuliano now. I think he's at a $6 price target still. But honestly, I think he's just given up on the stock. He's probably not looking at it right now. He's waiting for something bad to happen so then he can rewrite and tell his clients something about that name. I don't think he wants to remind his clients how wrong he's been. And so that report just gets more and more buried, further and further down. Okay. Now, let's talk about what could be the stock of the day. I mean, to me, it absolutely was. Why is this not working? Okay. To me, this absolutely was the stock of the day, up 254% year to date. Ladies and gentlemen, the great and powerful Hood, also up 470% in the last year. And if you keep scrolling back, it just keeps looking better. It's insane. So far, Robinhood is up, well, not so far, but is up 12.3% today alone because the S&P inclusion, okay, along with AppLovin, which, by the way, I bought in their last earnings during a dip on the actual stock. 1 second. My girlfriend just got home. My dog's freaking out. 1 second. Okay. And AppLovin, I think I'm up like 98% on my purchase. And it's been a couple of months. So that was good. The only thing I wish is that I bought a lot more, but my conviction was not super high at the time. It was more of a trade than an investment. But boy, oh boy, you got to love whenever you make a good trade. Okay. But that being said, with Robinhood, there's a couple things that I want to get across in terms of actual data that they ended up releasing. That was good, bad, and the ugly, but there is no ugly. I'm just pulling your guys' leg. I think the only ugly thing that's happened over the last little bit was the Upstart report. That looked ugly, but the fact that SoFi even caught any negative attention because of that is just insane, in my opinion. Vlad Tenev ended up showing off that Robinhood's prediction markets crossed 4 billion event contracts traded in an all-time, with 2 billion of that alone in Q3. Q3 is not even done, by the way. Okay. That said, 2 billion contracts in Q3 translates to $20 million of just pure revenue. Just straight. Well, I shouldn't say pure revenue. It just flows right to the bottom line. Okay. This is not something that they're trying to actively, promote. It's all APIs from Callsheet. Yes, there's some UX, UI design. It's not absolutely free. I mean, they do have engineers that still work on this product, and they're putting out more products going forward. but this is extremely low cost for how fast they're attaching new users onto this product. One quick second. I just need to get a coffee. Oh, boys, I'm a lucky guy. I am a lucky man. Iced coffee. What time is it? 7 p.m.? Yeah, I've got time. That's why she got me a large. It's only 7. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, but yeah. I don't think Tanner sleeps. Dude, what people don't realize, I sleep like so much. Like 8 hours a day, 8.5 if I can. I sleep a ton. My sleep score is like almost always above 90. It's incredible. Caffeine just doesn't affect my sleep. I don't know why. I do have an 8-hour quota because if I don't, like, you're not even going to see me that day. I won't even go live. I fall apart. The people who can operate on less sleep, good luck to you guys. I can't. And then some days I even have like terrible abilities to even read or like operate. And I'm like, I wonder what that is. I don't know. Now, this happened. This was a little piece of weird. This was a weird thing that ended up coming out today that Roy actually ended up sending me, and he caught online. Said Robinhood should be investigated for confirmed discrimination against conservative Americans. And it was this post here that says, I rejected 5 mega folks, even though they did good jobs in their interviews. And says, if you are a Trump or mega fan or mega or Trump supporter, you're done. You're not working at Robinhood, at least at my team. Okay. Now, this got an extreme amount of attention. The good part is Vlad responded quickly. This is not acceptable. We don't discriminate in our hiring. We're looking into this and we'll take immediate action if true. People are acting as if, Vlad didn't donate $2 million. He had the same donation as Mark Zuckerberg as a much, much, much smaller company to the Trump administration. Okay. They had definitely shown their cards, and he was positive this administration, or at least to some degree, right? I don't know what his personal affiliations is, but he definitely was not happy with the current regulation, under Gary Gensler. That was killing them on the crypto side. They got a Wells notice. They just, they got obliterated from a clarity perspective. Obviously they did very well still, but that's just, how good Vlad is. Under this new administration and under Paul Atkins as well, crypto is getting a complete green light. We're removing the gray area. We're showing white versus black, what you can do, what you can't. And absolutely, Vlad was a big supporter of this. So the idea that this rogue employee that is saying, hey, Robinhood does not support, essentially 50% of Americans is just absolute lunacy. And although this did catch a lot of traction, it's clearly not the state of how Robinhood as a complete organization feels about, American politics. Not to say the other way around, like they're not hiring, Democrats or more left-leaning individuals. That's not true either. It's just, I think, to be a really good founder from Vlad's perspective is to be apolitical, hire the best talent and be mission-driven. There's a very, very great article from Brian Armstrong talking about this on just, hey, we have a mission. Robinhood's is to democratize finance and bring the best tools that institutional investors have and give them to the newer investors or just the regular folk. And that should be everything that people are focused on. Okay. At least whenever you're at work. Whenever you go home, do whatever you want. But I think that that's just a rogue employee. And I'm sure by the end of the day, that person no longer works at Robinhood. So, yeah, it just caught a ton of traction. A ton. A little bit separate of a story, but I still want to bring it up, was this report that Bit Digital, by the way, this is not a Robinhood thing. We are going to cover Robinhood's monthly metrics here in a second, along with my predictions for September and how much they are going to do from a revenue perspective and earnings perspective. But just give me a minute. Or maybe we should do it in that order, and then I can keep the crypto stuff for a little later. Whenever I'm talking about why I'm buying so much BMNR right now, I'll keep that for later, actually. I'll hold on. I'll hold off. Okay. Now, let's quickly talk about Robinhood's, earnings, monthly metrics that they ended up showing off. Sorry, I didn't have it in my notes for some reason. So that's on me. Everyone go ahead and unsubscribe and click the down arrow. I don't deserve it. And I'm kidding. Give me one more chance. Okay. I could prove to you guys that I deserve your vote. Right here. I got it. It only took I distracted you with dry humor. And now I have you guys hooked. Robinhood shares selected September 2025 month-to-date trading volume. So this is month-to-date. This is not September's month. If you end up seeing, we are looking at September 1st through September 25th. Equity notional volume came in at 206 billion. Options contracts traded were approximately 187 million. And Robinhood's app crypto notional trading volume was 8 billion and Bitstamp was 12 billion. Okay? So how does that translate to actual stock gains, right? Obviously, we can look at the other monthly statistics. That's perfectly fine. But we want to see, what does that mean for the shareholders? What does that mean for the Robinhood company in general? Let's take a look at least what I'm seeing, and then you guys can determine how you guys decipher this information on your own. Okay. And so going back from July, August, and September, this is year over year data, and we have every single month going all the way till the most recent 3 months. So this is Q3. Now, usually we get all of the statistics, but because it's the last month, they can't give you all that information, or at least they don't, because, the earnings won't be fun or something. I don't know. Maybe there's something about the disclosures that I don't understand. I don't look into that kind of stuff. Now, the part that we do know is how many trading days there are in September, even though that's not fully fulfilled right now, and how much we ended up getting to see from them between September 1st to September 25th. Now, like I said, September has 21 trading days, but we've only seen 18 of those days so far. On crypto, we run 24/7, 365. There's no change there. So we've seen 25 days from September 1st to September 25th, and there will be 5 days remaining. So we can see what those darts are, the daily active, volume on Robinhood, to then sort of fill in the blanks of the 3 missing days, if they are average days, and the 5 missing days of crypto between, September 26, 27, 8, 9, 30, to fill in all of these dates. So, sorry, this says June. That's because I didn't change it from last month or last quarter. So this is actually what I believe September's data would be. So the numbers that they showed off was 206 billion in equity notional trading volume. I think it's actually going to be 240. 187 million options contracts traded. I actually think is 218, which, if you look, by far, the largest beat they've ever seen. The largest quarter ever. The largest month ever. And the largest quarter. Crypto notional volume, not as much of a slamming beat. We saw 9.6 billion. The rest of the quarter, we saw 16.8, 13.7. It's the worst month out of those, but, it's still not terrible. On Bitstamp, which I'm now accounting for, we now are at 14.4 billion, which seems great. Seems like it's bringing in a lot, but we have to remember a lot of those views, or a lot of that volume is institutional volume, which is, a 1/10, like 1/100th of the cost. I'll show you what I actually have it down as in a second here. But let's go over to the quarterly data. So these are all the quarters that we're looking at for Robinhood. And this is the amount of revenue that I think we are going to see in Q3. So if we look year over year, last year it was $637 million. I actually think this is going to be 85% higher, nearly $1,200, okay? 20% more quarter over quarter. This is an absolute stunning quarter and why the stock can continue to push higher, okay? I mean, obviously we got S&P 500 inclusion, but there's another reason why we're up, 12%. These are great numbers. Absolutely phenomenal. Of that breakdown, transactional-based revenue, $743 million, by far the greatest quarter we've ever seen. I'll talk about that. Net interest revenue, $372. I'll talk about it. Actually, I'll talk about it right now. Assets under custody, I'm assuming is, I think, 315 billion, something like that, for which I'm only taking 0.12% of, as this has come down constantly over time, but you can actually track their net interest revenue this way. And it's how I've been able to guess closer than anyone else in the Robinhood Weekly. By the way, that's, tonight. The reason why I'm constantly close is this formula that I have, okay? So a little bit of rate cuts, but very much on the back half of this quarter, so it's not affecting it greatly, and a lot of new assets coming in from new, Bitstamp and what's that, trade PMR, all of these things. So I'm seeing an increase in assets under custody, and we also got an update from last month, not in September though. But so 315 billion, I think, is what I'm assuming right now. Other revenue I have at 70 million. It's never going to be as high as Q2. Q2 is exceptionally high. It's that way every quarter. You usually see 70 million drop a little bit back down. Last Q2, 59 million drops a little bit. So you're going to see something similar. We saw the Say Technologies boost. We saw a lot of growth there from other products that they ended up putting out, but I don't think it's going to be as high as Q2. Okay. Let's break down. Yes, I live stream. I get out of breath. I'm not in good shape. Let's continue. Options. Very easy to determine based on the monthly data that I ended up showing off. So my September estimate total, along with July and August, if we can add that up, then we know how much that they are dealing with. Okay, like how much they've transacted. A brokerage, if you're a toll road, if you know how many cars are going through your toll road and you know how much they charge, you know how much revenue they're going to make. Okay, so this is the most understandable business whenever it comes to forecasting their growth, in my opinion. So what I do, if we go down to this key business metrics area of my spreadsheet, you can see trading volume here, which I'm going to show you guys. I just added in Bitstamps, and I'll talk about the take rate here in a second. But of that amount, what we're ended up going to see is I'm just adding up those 3 months. Okay? That's going to bring us to equity notional volume of 650 million at a take rate that's been similar to last quarter. Maybe it could be similar of the quarters before at 0.014%. It's not going to make much of a difference. Equities barely earn us anything. I'll show you year over year here as well. And by the way, I'm extremely confident on this because they've already disclosed how much monthly data or monthly traffic they've already seen. Options contracts traded, I'm actually lowering it because it bumped up so much from Q2. Okay, I was expecting, 48 cents, 49 cents. It came in at 51. I'm assuming that we just go a little bit lower than that. Okay, just to 50 cents per contract, 609 million. That's total amount traded. So if we add that up, I actually put it here, just a little cheat sheet, $304 million. And then crypto notional volume, this is a little interesting. So while crypto notional volume, I think, is going to be at 40 billion, that's going to bring in $232 million. Underneath this, I also have Bitstamp revenue, which should bring in about $60 million this quarter, which is insane, Maybe I'm a little high on this, okay? But from my understanding, about 80% of that volume is institutional revenue, which is probably somewhere along the lines of like, 0.05%, something like this in terms of a take rate, maybe even lower. But that extra 20% at roughly, zero point 0.8 or zero point 0.6 to 0.8%, which is what they see on their user side, I think that's going to balance it out, okay, to about 0.15%. So much lower than they're seeing on the Robinhood app because of that institutional volume. If I have that 80-20 mix correct, $60 million ad, give or take 20 million, okay, just to be fair. But I don't think it's going to be much lower than, 40 mil. Amazing ad. By the way, they paid $200 million for this company. We're about to potentially make 60 million this quarter. Isn't that crazy? Because whenever we bought it, the company, in terms of their overall customer counts, were going down. Crypto was in a complete, winter. It was just not a great area for them to be in. And they knew, especially if they could get Robinhood stock whenever being purchased, that if they could continue to work at Bitstamp with Robinhood, they were going to get amazing access to amazing tech, customers, great shares via Robinhood shares. Like, it's just an amazing offering. So potentially maybe even they took a worse deal if they knew they were going to work with one of the best fintechs. That said, if we go back up, now we can understand how I get to these numbers. If you just multiply what the percentage is to the amount of volume, we can see that options volume is going to come in at 305 million, assuming that amount. If I have the take rate right, and if I know what the remaining 3 days are going to be for the rest of the quarter, $294 million in cryptocurrency, which will be the second highest quarter. Also, Bitstamp will play, like I said, a large part of that. It would only be 230 million, but because Bitstamp, that's really going to start factoring in now. And equities, 84 million, by far the highest, okay, that we've ever seen, but still much smaller than what you would imagine based on the amount of volume. It's just not that high of a paying segment. In other here, we have, and I could even be much more bullish than this. Actually, I probably could be a lot more bullish. It probably is going to come in somewhere around 70 million now that I've just looked at it, because we already know that prediction volume came in at $20 million this quarter alone already. So it's probably already going to be like $21 million by the time the quarter ends. This also includes things like instant withdrawal. So if you see here, I put in a note. At Q3 of 2024, this is what they said. They said, instant withdrawal annualized revenue was 85 million in Q3 of 2024. Okay, so that means a quarter of it was that quarter. Next quarter, instant withdrawal annualized revenue was 115 million in Q4. Instant withdrawal, did I not update it there? Okay, well, those aren't updated. I didn't update those. But I thought it was 135 was the next quarter. Anyway, you can see, though, that instant withdrawals, which is them saying, hey, you know what? You can either wait 3 to 5 days to take a payment, or you can end up getting or giving us 0.7% of your, as a fee, and we'll pay you out immediately to another bank account. Great. Well, people are signing up to that at great rates. So you're seeing some obvious growth there, along with prediction markets, credit card transactions, stuff like this. It's a growing area in transaction-based revenue. All right. So my belief, 1.1, nearly 1.2 billion in total revenue. It'll be a smashing quarter. And you know what? I haven't even taken a look. I want to see what Fiscal AI says is the estimate for revenue next quarter. Wall Street, yeah, you know what? They're not too far off from what I'm saying, actually. I thought I was going to be in the high range. I'm not even. September, they're saying the low is 1 billion, the high is 1.25. Do you see that? That's for revenue. So the low 1.027 billion versus 1.246, 1.25. Yeah, so I'm actually just a little higher than the mid-range of what they're expecting. Isn't that funny? Here I was feeling bullish, and now maybe I'm wondering, like, you know what? Maybe this is going to be 70. Because clearly they see some other data. Oh, you're not even seeing my screen. I'm just out here changing things. I was going to say, this actually could be closer to 70 just because they probably see stronger credit cards and stuff. I would actually feel comfortable with that being a little bit higher as well, but who knows? Yeah. So let's say 1.18, 1.2 just to be safe, or well, not to be safe, but just to be like easy to remember. Brokerage and transaction has not been as linear as the amount of total volume that they've put together. So it's been very hard for me to track this. However, it does tick up whenever we have stronger quarters. I just don't know how to fully put this out. I'm thinking it's going to be 52, 55 million, something along these lines. Okay. Technology development, we have not seen a break in the last few quarters. I don't know how to value where that's going to be going forward. I kept that flat. Operations, we know has been clicking higher because of Bitstamp, okay? So this one could come to surprise me. I would not be surprised if this was, instead of 60, it was 80 or even 90 million. However, I'm just playing it safe. And by safe, I mean actually not safe at all. And just ticking it up just slightly. Marketing, nothing really came out this quarter to suggest that it would be that much higher. So 100 million. And general and administrative, they've held it flat for a long time. I'm suggesting it's also going to be flat. So although it is the highest amount of total expenses this quarter, I could see this being as high as 600 million, but probably not. That would probably be even in a range that they would not put up. Okay. With that being said, and I don't think I have my my EBIT here right. I don't think I do. No, I don't think I do. I don't think I adjusted this yet. But let me get back to you guys on what their EPS will be. I'll put out a more clear video closer to earnings, but let me adjust that because I don't actually think that's going to be right. But this is what I did work on, was trading volume and the updated September numbers. Incorporating Bitstamp numbers and then also incorporating the prediction market numbers as well. That's what we're getting here. Cool? Cool. All right. So, the real question, who's buying Robinhood here? 136.70. I'm not, because while the company looks amazing and, they continue to grow at extremely high rates, it's going to be hard to continuously grow at those level of rates. I don't think any company plans on growing at 80+% rates. Robinhood's long-term target is 20% CAGRs. So if that's the case and they want, do better right now, make hay, or is it make hay while the sun shines? Is that what the saying is? I think so. I'm not a farmer. That said, a 1-year appreciation on the stock of nearly 500%, that's a 6x, mind you, is insane. I'm not going to sell a share. I feel very happy that I'm a shareholder of this company. I've purchased it as low as $16. So somewhere right in this dip, actually. Like, I feel good, If we end up getting up to $160, $170 a share, my first purchase on Robinhood will have been a 10x. Actually, I ended up getting shares in the 1450 or so range during the yen carry trade thing, because Tevis called me and he said he was thinking about buying, and then I was like, okay, well, that's actually a great idea. I'll lower my price. It was like 14 something. So if we get to 140 145 something, it'll probably be a 10x from that specific purchase. So not a 10x on my entire position because I've continued to buy on a decent way on the way up, but not as much as I've purchased on the way up for SoFi. It's just happened so fast, It's hard to buy something that's gone up 6x in nearly 6x in a 1 year period. That's hard to purchase. But they've just continuously proven that they deserve a higher multiple because then prediction markets do well, and then their credit card does well, and then options and Bitstamp, and then WonderFi, and all of these things. Like, they're just going to go completely global. I see Hood going to 250 by mid of 2026. This is something I don't foresee, by the way. MZAC, sure, you're a great person, okay? But just because a company has been accelerating at this rate does not mean that they are going to continuously climb at that rate. I would bet against them being that high. I would be very, very worried if they were 250 by 3 quarters from now. Like, yeah. Never say never. I'm not saying never. I'm just saying I'd be worried. I don't even think I said never. I accidentally bought BMNU, like instead of BMNR. Oh my gosh. 2x leveraged BMNR. I haven't even seen this. I think it just started trading. But that is that's scary. That is. You know what you should do? Sell those shares and get some options. Buy some short dated calls on BMNU. Unless you're not really playing the game. That's a joke for the people that want to follow that trade. Do not. YOLO. Okay. Yeah, Michael, you're on your own there. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about that. That'll be a good transition. I've got a video coming out tomorrow on BMNR. I'm falling head over heels. Okay? My head, my heels. Heels flying way over. I'm looking like I'm in scorpion position. Actually, those are heels over head. I don't know. I don't even understand that reference. I can't even pick. My head's always above my heels. All right. However, ETH treasury firm Bit Digital proposes a $100 million convertible note offering to expand treasury. What I love about this industry, the treasury movement, out of all of the other names, is that if Robinhood does well, it doesn't necessarily mean good things for Vanguard, for Schwab, for like those accounts have to be coming from somewhere. Okay, unless they're brand new accounts that just opened up their first brokerage for the first time, that's not happening for 27 million Americans. A lot of them have transferred from other brokerages. Okay. However, with the treasury game and following the crypto industry, anytime that this ETH treasury ends up raising more to go out and buy Ethereum, it's great for BMNR. Because then it boosts, it locks down the amount of capital, potentially secures even more staked Ethereum, and then it essentially adjusts that supply and demand, because the amount of supply that is free flowing ends up going down. There's more customers that are like long-term holders of Ethereum, and boosts up the share price, which actually is good for everyone. Quite interesting. Bob, that's how I'm feeling these days. That's how I'm feeling. I've been reading a lot of stuff from different companies, and like every company, and especially the really, really long term. So this is the problem. I find the people that are not long-term crypto, the people who are just getting into it for a quick little hit, and I'm talking about the companies, the Stripes, the SoFis, the these sort of things. And I'm not saying they're here for a quick hit, but they're all trying to build level one blockchains. I think it's the wrong way to go. All the extremely long-term, like crypto-heavy companies are not trying to build their own L1s. They are building on top of Ethereum. They're realizing that the L2s are just so much better of a place to be, at least for now, while they gain scale. And it's like, wow, I'm just loving the fact that as I look around, I'm seeing all of these companies all just unanimously agree, aside from like Fiserv, that Ethereum is the name. Fiserv ended up going on Solana, and I'm sure their coin will end up having a multi-chain with Ethereum that ends up finding a lot of, volume there as well. But yeah, BMNU up 10% in after hours. Are you kidding me right now? It's up 2.8% in after hours is what I see. Yeah, but Sol is better. I don't care. I don't care. Don't care. If the whole world says Ethereum's better, then that makes Ethereum better, doesn't it? I'm sorry, Trevor. My conviction on ETH is too high. Oh, okay. There was a guy named Trevor. I thought you were calling me Trevor. Understood. People don't want Solana because it's centralized. That's my understanding as well. Okay, and to be very critical of Solana, their uptime is not that great either. They be crashing from time to time. And I hold a lot of Solana. You know? I trust Tom Lee, his network will pump the stock for sure, as it has been. Man, they just announced that they're now at like 2.651 million ETH holdings at 41, something like this. Like they've got over $11 billion in holdings. The stock's at $15 billion market cap. I've got a video coming out tomorrow, so I don't just want to give it away, but like there's a lot of reasons to believe that that things are going to go higher for them. I did a lot of work over the weekend. Looks good. No financial advice. It's a degen play for sure. Okay. If you like buying businesses, then, the treasury companies are not the same as going out and buying SoFi or going out and buying some other company that's more focused on net income, I guess. Not to say that BMNR won't have net income. Surprisingly, they will, because of staking and things like this. And, Ethereum lending or return on their invested capital. Like, for example, they went out and acquired $20 million of 8Co Holdings, Orbs. It's worth $157 million now. That's a 7.5x. They announced it in September. So the Tom Lee brand name is just crazy. Do you still own SBET? Yes. Tanner, don't know if you discussed, but Chamath finally launched a SPAC. Is the company that the SPAC is attached to announced? Because I have not been keeping track with that at all. Yeah, so I just saw a comment talking about Shopify and how green of a day it is. Let's actually talk about that as we transition to one of the largest companies in my entire portfolio. Many people don't know this about me. I hold more Shopify than I do SoFi, and by like a large margin. Okay, very large margin. Shopify is one of my favorite names. I love the company there. It's actually one of the only things that actually gives me any hope in Opendoor is the fact that Kaz is CEO of Shopify. That's like one of the only things that does get me excited about Opendoor. However, Shopify ended up showing off a new product, a new partnership, which the partnership has been announced for some time. So that's not new. No one's surprised to see it, but it still does look good in practice. So let's have a quick peek. Shopify merchants will be able to sell directly in ChatGPT. We've been working with OpenAI for quite some time so people can search and buy products in chat, and it's something we've had a hard time keeping quiet. It's true. We've known this for many months now. Rollout is coming very, very soon. Okay. So if I mute this here, as you can see, I'm looking for a lightweight trail running shirts that stay cool. Can you help? Absolutely. Then you can actually click through to those products and it will show you those products here and say, hey, you know, we can have it to your house by this moment. Do you want to buy? You can buy with Shop Pay, all those great things. So let's go ahead and listen to, so that was Toby Lutke. He's the actual CEO founder of the company, but he's not actually the president of Shopify. So this is more of the facing operations guy. And this is Harley Finkelstein. And he's talking about what this means for the business.
Hey everyone, Harley here, and we're announcing a really exciting partnership today. Shopify is partnering with OpenAI to bring commerce directly into ChatGPT. That's right. Now, in addition to asking ChatGPT for advice, you can also ask for product recommendations, you can shop around, and you can check out, all without leaving the chat. It is pretty amazing. And to let you in a little secret, while we might be announcing this today, we've been building for agentic commerce for a long time now, and we are so excited to see it rolling out. Now, this is Shopify's superpower. We constantly anticipate where consumers will be shopping next, and then we build accordingly. So our merchants are always one step ahead. Now, here's the thing. Commerce never stands still. We've seen it move from storefronts to search engines, from social feeds to the metaverse. Every time we've built the infrastructure so our merchants can meet the customers wherever they are. So, welcome to the new frontier. Conversation-driven commerce, no friction, just a shopper, a question and some context, and a purchase right inside the conversation. Let's go.
Let's go. So the thing that, like you said, is Shopify's superpower is just knowing exactly the types of partnerships. By the way, they're the best partner any business can have. It's why every single company partners with them, from Meta to Google to Amazon to Walmart, ChatGPT, all of them, right? They all work with Shopify because they're amazing to work with and it benefits all parties. Now, he also brought up the metaverse thing. They've partnered with companies like Roblox and for Meta Horizons and stuff like this. They've been talking about, even with like VR glass or VR headsets and stuff, if you were to visualize what a couch would look like in your living room, there's been some pretty cool products that Shopify has announced where you can actually end up seeing the dimensions of the couch, what it looks like, and seeing what that would look like in your room. Cool stuff like that. Maybe it doesn't end up blowing up, but the fact that their engineering team is always focused on those next products, they don't need to worry about what blows up. They just need to offer essentially, a API to all of those different connections. So then if ChatGPT is the next place where everyone's spending all their time and want help shopping and stuff like this, that Shopify is not left behind. And they never will. They'll always be front and center. Biggest investing mistake I've ever done was selling Shopify below 50. Yeah, it does happen to be, things where people end up making more mistakes is that they end up selling. It's not that your inability to find great companies. That's usually not what I find people lack with. At least I've not lacked with that. It's my ability to sell companies too early. Now, one way that I've combated that is that I just don't sell anymore. I do still sell, but I'm much more patient on the trigger just to sell something because it has ran so much. That's not one way to justify whether something is overvalued, by the way. As a Canadian, Shopify is the only Toronto Stock Exchange stock that I hold. Same. GPT-5 was a failure. Gemini is dominating. I don't think that's true. I think a lot of people are using GPT-5, and that the idea that that demonstration was a failure is completely overblown. You live off YouTube? What does that mean? Like financially? YouTube plays a part in how much money I make, but honestly, it's mostly from investing. If you're not selling any stocks, well, a lot of it is, well, one, I don't need that much to live off of, so like it's not like I'm pulling out insane amounts, but I do still sell. I don't sell often, but I do still have cash that I come by, and then it's things like covered calls and stuff like this, dividends that I end up making in my portfolio that also generates cash as well. How do I buy shares of this YouTube channel? You don't want to buy shares of this YouTube channel. If I had money, I'd buy shares in Amit's channel more than I would my own. The dude has that gene, you know. I don't have that gene. I've got a want to talk about stocks and enjoy it, but he's hungry. Like, and I love that for him. I love that. By Google. Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's just maybe a little too diversified in a way. I mean, yeah, Amit's not going to beat those allegations. I don't know. I don't know what gene it is. Google or Microsoft? I pick Google at these prices, but I don't fault anyone for picking Microsoft. Give me one dividend stock that you bought recently. Nvidia. You know, I was a big shareholder up until recently of JEP-E and JEP-Q. They played, well, smaller percentages of my portfolio. It's not exactly a dividend, but I was making recurring cash from them instead of sitting in cash. If I didn't know what to invest in, I just buy those to generate me more income over time. Roy's Air Test Systems or Navitas. Air Test Systems, you got to trust Roy, man. He's a great investor. I believe in his DD. But I'm not buying it because I'm not borrowing his conviction. But if you have to make me pick, then yeah. Which stock would you put 35K into right now? Vic, that's a very specific number. I think what you're asking in different terms is give me financial advice and tell me what to buy. Vic, even if I told you what I would do with that money, I don't know what you would do once you had those shares. You know, if you saw it run up a little bit, if you saw it end up drawing down a little bit, would you panic and sell? And that might be what you do if you don't have the same conviction as me in a certain name. Like if I said, oh, you know, I like Nvidia. And then you go, well, I don't know. I like the AI build out seems a little bit overdone, but hey, you know what? Maybe this guy sees something I don't. Buy. And then the next day a report comes out. Nvidia chips are overheating and they need to focus on something else, whatever, some hit piece. And then the stock ends up falling 3% of that news. You go, oh my gosh, you know what? I knew their products were overblown. This CapEx spend's overdone. I'm selling. You can only find your own conviction. So with your own $35,000, buy what you think is the cheapest and what you have the highest conviction in? Okay. Look at Nvidia's cup and handle on the weekly. Jody, see, this is where I become a very bad investor, okay? I wouldn't even know how. Cup and handle? This is the only cup I have right here. That was terrible. I'm sorry. That was like a mid humor. It will never happen again. I'm sorry, guys. I have bad influences in my life where I get this corny ass humor from watching this guy live every day. No, it's not sounding like I'm saying buy Nvidia. Yeah, I don't do charts. Tanner, how come you're more bullish on BM&R but not on strategy? Please explain. One, the speed at which they're acquiring their said, like digital asset. BM&R is much, much faster. They are acquiring Ethereum faster than MicroStrategy acquired Bitcoin. Two, I'm not as much of a fan of Bitcoin as I am of Ethereum. Strategy or Bitcoin has a fixed supply. Ethereum, although it's inflationary right now, the idea is that it's inherently deflationary based on the amount of volume that they end up seeing. Okay. So I think it's much more of a productive asset. I think financial institutions, many countries, all of these things will prefer to hold on to Ethereum because it's actually like it can be staked and benefit off those types of things. So I'm not anti Michael Saylor or anything like this. I think like that's going to do great, but I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I do hold Bitcoin. I'm not anti Bitcoin, but I just like oil more than I like gold, for example. When SoFi crypto? I don't know. I hope it's soon. How is the community portfolio doing? I love to hear a question like that. Let's take a look. You know what, guys? It's not a great day. We shouldn't have looked. We're back in the red. Well, actually, it was a good day, but we're back in the red ever so slightly because SoFi is down 1.5%. It's because of this last 5 days. We've just been on a nice red streak on SoFi. It's been incredible. But look at this. SBET's trying to make a comeback. Hood is just killing it. Wolf is somehow killing it as well today. Where's our BM&R? I don't see a BM&R here. Anyway, yeah. Nebius we're up 120% on. Thank you to whoever gave me Nebius shares. That was very generous of you. Isn't it crazy? Like whoever donated me Nebius shares has given me 2.2x that donation because, I bought Nebius and now it's up more than double. That's an insane gift. Same with Iren and Bloom Energy. Just nuts. So we're doing well. And on October 8th, I think, we will end up going into our first quarterly performance where we will talk about which companies have done the best and the worst in our portfolio. And like other portfolio managers, we might have to rebalance. Chime not looking so good. A Novix, what is this? Grinder, Fiserv, Twilio, Big Bear AI, QXO, Accenture, WD-40 Company, which I know that one was given based on sheer joke. Taylor Lauber interview. MD, I got to be honest, I still haven't even asked. They're doing them, you know? Like, if I bug them, then he's not working. If I don't bug him, he's working, you know? You'll want to keep Big Bear AI? Yeah, but Quan, you're going to have to come on and explain yourself. I think it was you that ended up giving the Big Bear AI. So you got to tell me. If you explain yourself and then everyone goes, you know what, keep it, like we're all big believers in Big Bear, then I'm just going to keep it. Like I believe your guys' DD. But to whomever gave me WD-40, yeah. Honestly, nothing is even really that down. Like, I don't actually think we have too many like insane losers. The only thing that's like super down is SBET, and I believe in it. So we're not selling what I like. This is not that much of a democracy. Okay. At the end, I get to pick my rules. So, you know, SBET here, I'm keeping with. It was me, and I will, dude. No, I know you will. But that's why I'm excited for I think it'll be October 8th or whatever. It'll be a fun episode. Tanner's Autocracy. Yep. Tanner, SoFi to 27. Are you buying? I mean, if it was 24, I'd feel more comfortable. There's a lot of really great opportunities in the market. You know, so but I could. Like, I don't even think that's a bad idea. But yeah. Tanner, you better study up. For what? You want me to pitch my own beliefs? I do that every day. I tell you guys have to show up one day to do what I do for a fraction of a period of time. I'm going to have Quan Tessie on here to talk about why I shouldn't sell off BM&R. You know, maybe we give her 2 minutes to explain the case real quick. In and out. We got a lot of red names here. But honestly, none of these are actually doing that bad. Like, I wouldn't want to sell off TMDX, DLocal, you know, CoreWeave, ARM. Like, I'm sure a lot of these are doing quite fine. I'm actually surprised. Like, is our losses like just purely based on SBET? Like, I actually think that might be what's happening here. $5 from Woods says SoFi stole my right kidney. I think that was TMDX. TMDX might have stole your kidney. I'm kidding. Don't investing for freedom. Which name do you have to defend? I forget. Remind me. To defend why you want to kick them out? I want to kick them out because they're losing. That's a data-driven decision. Paul said, why did SoFi tease crypto 6 months ago if they weren't ready to launch anytime soon? Really pissed me off that they keep doing this. Yeah, I think, you know, what's funny is like, we were kind of like, oh, you know, why don't they tell us what they're working on and then it'll calm us down? And then they tell us what they're working on. And we're like, why aren't you launching it now? I do agree. But I don't know. I'm more disappointed. Well, they did say crypto is going to come by year end. So like, that's what we're going to hold them to. That's what they said. They also said level 1 options by end of year. Yeah. If someone told you that when SoFi was down for no reason for years, you would lose it. Yeah, but I would come on to defend it. I'm not going to sell all the names that are down. I'm saying you guys got to give me the case. We all come on. I tell you guys, we have to know what we're buying. So clearly you guys know what you're buying. Nothing is really even that down. And the ones that are down where I'm like, okay, what's the case for WD-40 company? I know who gave me that, and they were doing it because I had like WD-40 on my desk somewhere. I don't know where it is, but maybe I took it downstairs. But yeah. Okay, I rest my case. I did that for years. I know you will, Quan. I'll send you a DM or something to remind you what day it is. It's going to be fun. I think people are more stressed about it. They're like, oh my God, how could this possibly be? As if you guys are worried that I'm going to sell my $10 share of, Chime stock or something. I'm not like, this is just the community portfolio. I'm not going to like, oh, if you guys get it wrong, you're getting banned and I'm selling all my SoFi. That's why I love Robinhood. They gave me level 3 options, no questions asked. They will let me financially ruin myself. That's why I love Robinhood. I mean, it is true. They will let you do what you want to do with your life. There's a lot of other ways to ruin your life, and you don't have to ask for permission. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see. What else are you guys saying? Nothing? We moving on? Okay, deal. Let's take a look at Google's Waymo to see why, Tesla has absolutely no chance in catching up. Look at how good these are getting. This thing is just having a stroll, bro, in like a golf course. There's got to be a way to stop those things, right? So I think there's another one, by the way. Where is it? I thought I saved it. No, there was another one where another one was like parked up on the side of a, parked up on the side of some curb. Waymo's, it's not been the week for Waymos. Okay. We hope for good things, but right now, not great. Yeah. 4. Okay. Tomorrow, we've got a nice little event coming out. Amazon is going to show off a hardware event. Okay. So hinting at new Echoes and a new color Kindle. Who cares about a color Kindle, by the way? What's even that for? But yeah, they're showing off a little mix between some of their products. So potentially a monitor here with great graphics. They've got the Echo there. They've got the Kindle down here. Looks quite interesting. So that's for tomorrow. Then the day after that, on Wednesday, we have Google end up doing an event. Is that you, Gemini? Come in and make yourself at home. The other day, I was on a live stream talking about, how artificial intelligence is going to be in every part of our lives. And people said, oh, is it going to meet you in the shower? I said, absolutely it will. Like 100%. Now, in the way that people imagine it, maybe not. But do I think that there's going to be models that study the temperature that you like to have your water at and then just automatically make sure that the water is at that temperature whenever you go to turn it on? Things like this. These are not going to be the products that get rushed out over time, but they will happen. They will come. So Gemini is coming to Google Home. Come back October 1st. This is the Google Nest camera right there. And maybe there will be a little bit better, detection. Who is at your house? Is this like I'm on the Nest products. I have like all of them, including the cameras and all of the stuff. And it will tell you, there's a car outside. There's a dog, or well, not dog, but there's an animal spotted. There's a person. It can do the facial stuff. It'll say, oh, this person is home. This person just came to your house. If it recognizes who, you are. But maybe it'll start to recognize whose people's jobs are, There's a marketer at your door. And then you go, okay, well, I'm not going to go answer my door then. Like, I don't know. There's a package that's been left behind your door. It looks like someone just showed up in an Amazon truck. It looks like someone just showed up in a UPS or something, or FedEx truck. That could start to really pick up on the notifications and updates that they give you on, the cameras that are sitting outside of your house. So could be great. Whoa, in the shower? No, not the cameras in the shower. Not the cameras in the shower, but just end up reading the usage. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I don't know. This is the interesting part about AI. It's like going back in 1999 and suggesting what we would be using the internet for 20 years from now. I don't think we would have ever guessed half the stuff that had been created, or even more. That's the problem with technology. Is some people, they'll say, instead of having cars go and deliver a newspaper, we're going to have flying cars, and we will have people fly over to deliver the newspaper. They can't even imagine what the internet would have looked like. One thing that has never been in any of the futuristic books, at least that I could remember, in terms of teleportation and space and having phones and radio, all of these things that have been understood throughout time. The one thing that's never been really, and AI definitely has, like Jarvis and all of these things, like really, really smart tech has been thought up before, but social media really has not been a thing that's been suggested in any sci-fi. I can't remember. Not that I can think of. Isn't that weird? Okay. I want AI to scan all the moles on my body for cancer. I mean, that absolutely will happen. If that's not already happening today. I'm sure that's the case. Social media is dystopian. That's why you're on social media, right? YouTube is social media. I'm actively live replying to you or having a conversation. That's social media. This is a big, I like this belief as well. I'm a big believer that the largest company in 25 years doesn't even exist yet. We just got to find it. I mean, maybe it could definitely be true. Yeah. Okay. I want AI to make me always happy. That's definitely been one thing that technology has changed. Like, people just don't get bored anymore. Like, a lot of people tell you to do this. I'm not one that has done this very successfully, is to just completely disconnect. I've got a really hard time with that. I don't really disconnect ever. And so I never find myself bored anymore. I find myself stressed or like there's other feelings but boredom is not something I feel anymore. And I wonder if new generations of children just will not be bored. I wonder. Hi, Tanner. What's up, Twitch? Some people got to help me with Twitch. I need something, I forget what it was. It was like 5 average viewers over 4 streams in 1 month. And then they put me into like a new program where I can actually be discovered. Help me out. Go to Twitch instead of YouTube. I think being alone is important for peace of mind. It's not that I'm not alone. I find myself, I find myself, both myself and my girlfriend are work from home, right? I'm doing YouTube, trying to create my own business, stuff like this. She's also trying to create her own business. So we're together a lot, but we work in 2 separate offices. So like, it's not like we're together all day, but yeah. What's your Twitch? I think it's just future investing. I don't even know how to send my Twitch. Do you plan on having children? Absolutely. If you're alone, you can use your bathroom in peace. You're right. You're right, Roy. Do you plan on having children? Yeah, I do. In fact, I was having a conversation with Roy about this before, where I just I watched this conversation where someone said not having children is like playing at like a low stakes poker game, and you're almost playing life on easy mode. And if you really want to play the real game and have some real stakes and real responsibility, children is a good way to do that. It's high risk, but also extremely high reward, right? It's the most rewarding thing you can do, according to what people tell me. I've never done it, but also I think to it as if this, and people can tell me if I'm right. I think Elon Musk even recently said this, like just inherently, that's what we're designed to do. Like every animal, bug, and everything all just wants to procreate. It's inherently what we are designed to do. It must be amazing. But I also have never done it, so I don't know. Never had a baby. Yo, just came from YouTube. Appreciate you helping out. Thank you. Ring first. Yeah. No, I'm aware. I've got 4, 2 autistic toddlers. It isn't for the faint-hearted, but absolutely the most worthwhile part of life. Wow. Yeah. Twitch mob never dies. There you go. It's gratifying. My children unlocked an emotion for me I've never felt before. Well, worth the experience, but I don't think everyone is fit to be a parent also. You know what? I like that. I would like to think that I am fit to be a parent. I don't know if I'm going to be wrong or like I got my life together, or at least to what I think is together, super early, and had a really short period of being in my 20s. Like, well, I'm in my 20s now, but just the usual like college experience, these sort of events, like just I never really did any of that. So I've been in relationships my whole, like, I don't know. I've just I'm more of a homebody. I just think like it's something that I want to do. And I don't also, you know what, just gotten so delayed in life. Like I think people like my mom and dad had my oldest brother whenever they were like 24. A lot of people have had it much, much earlier than that. I'm going to be 28 here soon, next month. And like, that's getting older. And like, it's really like people are really pushing it out into their 30s. You're never ready for your first child, but you can get ready in a hurry. I remember whenever I bought my house, a bunch of people told my dad was like, he's like, oh, you know, it's going to be a lot harder than you think. And then it was immediately the easiest thing ever and the best decision I've ever made. And things went wrong and I just called people to go fix it. I'm sure it's going to not be that easy because I don't just have an endless amount of people to call. But I always think people overblow how hard things are. Like, I mean, like, I'm fully aware. I'm fully aware it's going to be super hard, but like everyone is able to do it. It cannot be the hardest thing. I feel like the hardest things can only be done by small percentages of people. Am I crazy in thinking this? That's fair. Maybe that's true. No, it will be the hardest thing in your life. No sleep at all, stress, work, expensive. Yeah. 99% of parents who want to be good parents are at least decent at it. Yeah, and you know what? Like, I also think like I'm at that stage where like, you know, my girlfriend and I are actively talking about it all the time, and like, it's not going to be by mistake or anything like this. Like, we are in those moments of talking about it and stuff. So, I don't know. I think we'll be well prepared. Who knows? I don't know. Okay. I can definitely say all the dads in this chat have already sent kids to sleep. Yeah, you know what's funny is my entire sleep schedule, like I wake up whenever the market opens. You know, I'm sure that can no longer happen. I go to bed at like 1 and wake up at 9. I'm sure that's not going to be the case. Yeah. Yeah, SoFi is going to have to come to Canada and have to get those teen accounts. We're going to have to get those child accounts get started. I have a 13 and 15-year-old. I'll have a blast with them. Or I have a blast with them. It's still going to happen. You guys, I'm going to have to get my 8 hours. It's going to have to happen. I'll find a way. I said that I needed 8 hours. I didn't say that my girlfriend needed. No, I'm kidding. Oh gosh, she's probably going to see that. Okay. That's funny. Nvidia. Let's talk Nvidia real quick. Oh, okay, good. Nvidia at the Seoul Robotics Conference introduced the open source Newton physics engine built with Google DeepMind in Disney Research and the new Isaac GR00T N1.6 robot model that integrates its Cosmic Reason Vision language model. I mean, that, if you didn't know a little bit about Nvidia, that's a different language. That explain that couple of sentences to a caveman. It's be impossible. Sorry, single sentence. Cosmic Reason now ranks first on the Hugging Face Physics Reason leaderboard. The company also released updated Cosmic World models for synthetic data, added new dexterous grasping workshop in Isaac Lab 2.3, tested by Boston Dynamics, and launched new AI hardware, including GB200 NVL. You know what's so funny? I read this in my head, and made all the sense. Reading it out loud, I'm like, this is insane. Imagine trying to grip what Nvidia does by getting this read to you. This is impossible, dude. However, essentially, they're getting better with robots. Okay. Using NVIDIA systems and working on some of the software that actually helps make those robots even easier to work with. With the MVL72 systems with 72 Blackwell GPUs, RTX Pro servers, and Jetson Thor for the on the actual robot interface, which is the Jetson Thor. NVIDIA said Boston Dynamics, Agility Robotics, Figure AI, and Techman Robot are adopting its tools with universities like Stanford, Zurich, and NUS also using them. Yeah, that's the thing, right? They always want to get in super early so that everyone's building on these products and NVIDIA stays the top dog. But I thought that this was interesting. Like, people continuously forget, obviously, the large chips that they are making all their money on right now for data centers, for companies like NVIDIA, for companies like Meta to give their products out online. That's not always going to be the case. There is going to come eventually a physical AI boom where robots are going to be some of the reasons why NVIDIA chips not only onboard those robots, but also the data centers where they send that information back for continuous learning will end up being, very, very prudent. And who knows, maybe I'll buy one to babysit my kids and stuff. Yeah. NUS is the University of Singapore, if you say so. I love that Tanner's kids will be able to see these videos and know they weren't accidents. Yeah. I do think one of the reasons why I love live streaming and making YouTube videos, for real, it's what I tell everyone is my favorite part of the job, is like, if you look back, whenever I pass away, not only will I have a giant thing to go through, but you'll be able to see me age, and hopefully I'm doing this all the way into my late life. And a lot of it's just going to be financial content that's taken completely out of context, because things are just, that news is gone. But a lot of it is my personal ideas, the way that I thought about the world, some, I guess, political, or I don't know. You get to understand who I was, even for my kids that end up watching this. Yeah, maybe I will die on stream. I don't know. But I do love that my funeral video is going to be full. Absolutely full. Tanner, are you setting me up right now? Do you know what shirt this is and you have stake in this company? This is Lululemon. Okay, so if you're setting me up, if people have Lululemon stock, you got me. But yeah, I've been buying a lot of Lululemon. It's not too dark. I don't think it's too dark. Yeah, no. I mean, I don't think it's dark to say I'm going to pass away one day, and that I'm not saying it's anytime soon. It could be forever ago, but the internet's forever. Or sorry, it's going to be in a long, long time from now. But the internet is forever, and you're going to see those videos of me jumping in the pool and talk about the stocks that I loved, and who knows where they will be as time goes on. I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know. It's in 134 days. Start the clocks, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of shirts, leggings, or stocks. Shirts and pants, not leggings. No, you're talking about funeral and death. It just doesn't bother me. I'm just I'm, it's going to happen. I don't care. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it bothers me that I'm going to have an end one day. I think that it's cool that it's all recorded. Sorry if this is different than my shirt. Oh, were you guys saying that my shirt is too dark? No way that's what you guys are trying to convince me that he was saying. No, because the next comment is, I feel sad now. It's not about my shirt. You guys were talking about the funeral talk. That's funny, though. Okay, so this is what I need from you guys. As time goes on and Shopify is integrating into ChatGPT and potentially Gemini, follows suit, and Perplexity, we already know that that's all going through and everything. Whenever you guys start looking into product through ChatGPT, let me know whenever you go and buy something, that had a pop-up screen in a ChatGPT conversation. All right? Because that's going to be really interesting. Tanner, what do you think about hood covered calls at 1:35 expiring October 17th? That's not my style. That might be interesting, but I mean, we're already above that. So that's for some risky guys. I don't play that way. That's not how I do it. Are you still considering Duolingo? I mean, I'm not actively looking into purchasing it. I was more looking into it whenever it was getting like really low. But the problem with Duolingo is it never got like super cheap. There was obviously a possibility that it could have, but like we're still looking at, a PE of 134, probably a forward PE, I think somewhere around like 70 or 60, something like that. Like that's not super cheap. SoFi looks cheaper than that. Obviously, they're growing faster, but like, come on. It wasn't like ever a screaming buy, but on the way down, I was just thinking like, okay, well, it can't keep going this way because nothing in the actual fundamentals does it look like it's getting worse. So, yeah. Went to 250. Did it? I thought it went to like 270. If it went to 250, I mean, there was probably some buyability there. Who shops anymore? My AI agents do that for me. But Woods, that will 100% be a thing, which is super exciting. They will absolutely say, hey, based on all my clothes in my closet, like decide the type of outfit that I'm wearing and, give me some new selections for products or automatically order that for me. That's absolutely coming. But the thing is that a company like Shopify never loses in that situation because like people are still going to need product, regardless if those products are made and there's robots end up making them and it lowers the total cost to manufacture those products. Shopify is still going to take their cut. Let's talk about Open Door, by the way. I said I was going to talk about Open Door. Let's do that. There were two posts that ended up coming out from Kaz that I thought were quite interesting. And this is sort of you could see so much of Shopify in these posts. One is, sorry, where did he post it? Anyway, if I can't find it, I'll just tell you what he said, which was everyone's got to come into the office. No more working from home. We're going to start, coming into the office, meeting with each other, sharing ideas. That's stage one. Stage two, you have to be completely AI native. if you're going to spreadsheets, wait, where was that post that he ended up saying? If you reach, this is what he says. I like this. If you reach for Google Doc or Sheets before you reach for an AI tool, you are not defaulting to AI. If the prototype for a project is not built in Cursor or Claude Code, you are not defaulting to AI. If you have not used chat.opendoor.com and started thinking about how you can build your own agents and save your prompts, you are not defaulting to AI. Great upside of chat.opendoor.com is that it becomes the company's problem to worry about data security, etc., and not yours. Just saying, hey, we're going to make this as easy as absolutely possible. Please start using artificial intelligence. That was a Toby Lutke memo that ended up going out. He's literally following in Toby Lutke's footsteps, including sending out the entire memo to the world. Toby Lutke did that about his last post about saying how you have to default to AI. Then he ended up showing off another post, which saw a couple people making fun of this. I'm not making fun of this at all. I think this is, founder mode 100%. Maybe that's cringy, but I think that it's important. Today is Opendoor's first day back in office. As an in-office company, our wonderful office manager put a gift on everyone's desk in the office. And this, as you can see, being the CEO, this is his office, and he's just right in the middle of everyone else. And some people said, "Oh my gosh, like you're desk to desk with someone else, like that's, that doesn't look cool or whatever." I think that's great. He's not any more special. He's here to do a great job, and everyone's working. I think this is not bad at all. I'm happy with it. Also, can we talk about Stephen Fiorillo really quickly? He posted an Robinhood article, which, to be fair, I haven't read. Maybe it'll change my whole mind and I'll sell off Robinhood. But he sent it this morning saying how he's downgrading Robinhood and that there's a retracement is more likely before a next breakout, before today's 12%, like it going up 12%. So even if there is a retracement, it's going to take it back down to the price that we just left it at. It was bad timing. It sucked. Give some love to Dividend Streams. I mean, we all know he needs it now more than ever. All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. Good timing, Steve. Just not the best timing. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That has been it from me today. I've got another stream for this stream. I've got another stream at 9:30 p.m. That's 45 minutes from now. Okay. So if you guys are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, whatever you need to get reminded that we do daily live streams here every single day. Aside from that, thank you guys for your time. That's all I ask of you. Really do appreciate your time. And bye for now.